Welcome in. Welcome in to Roster the People. Oh, here we go. All right, week 5. Neil Smith, Jason Draven. You know who we are. We're here every week doing this. Going to help everybody set their lineups and do what we do. Jason, this is the start of buys. Are you excited? Are you so excited?
If more and more news doesn't keep coming out, it'd be awesome. But that just seems to keep happening, and I don't like any of it. Like, this whole Devontae Adams thing is just, like, blowing my mind. It shouldn't, but...
It's the least surprising thing in the world. It's the least surprising thing possible. So there you go. He's upset about everything, I would imagine. It all goes back to a pattern. Remember a couple weeks ago when Antonio Pierce was talking about business decisions? I think this is what he meant. And maybe not this specifically, but this whole situation to me is not that surprising. You're dealing with a team that lives in constant disarray. You know what I mean? So I'm wondering if the comments might have gotten deleted when we went live for some reason, because there was a bunch of comments. There's like 6 comments in here, and now there's less. If you posted a comment and you don't see it anymore, post it again, just to be on the safe side, because I will make sure that we want to make sure we get all your questions answered. So for anybody who's new, because we do have a few new people in the audience, it looks like Jason and I are basically going to be here to BS around and answer everybody's questions, help them get their lineup set. Any questions you might have. Polo understands the show. Polo's here.
that's the most important part.
Yeah, exactly. And yes, he has said he hasn't spoken to his coach in 2 weeks, which is totally normal.
Why would you?
Yeah, why? Totally normal, right?
Makes no sense to talk to the guy who is drawing up plays. Does that mean he's not going to practice? I don't know. Is that a business decision? Does that work?
I can tell you right now that he's probably not playing this week. So
they made that official.
Yeah, and then that's because of his hamstring injury, which now there's also that question, which is, does he have a hamstring injury? I don't know.
They do say it's real, and he will be sidelined 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, that is smart, because
that's how long it's going to take to get a trade done.
Exactly. Well, that, and also if you were playing a game with the injury report like that, you could get fined. So they would like to make that clarification, because even if there was going to be a trade, as we know, there would have to be a series of physicals, right? So if we found out that there was some sort of fraudulence with the physicals, see, that's how people can get fined, jobs could be lost. So no one's going to play that particular game. And look, Daniel's here. Daniel doesn't even say hi to us anymore. That's see that they'll do their own show in the comments, so that's fine. They always help us out with that. All right, so we got some real questions in here. Here you go. Glitchy Game. I know you from the Sunday show.
Yeah,
I know you from the Sunday show. So yes, I'd say that's totally fine.
Especially since White popped up on the injury report today.
Right, and I'd rather have the guy who's inconsistent. Well, the starter and inconsistent over the guy who's just waiver wire fodder. So Swift is going to be frustrating, but White's not really doing anything for you. So I think that's a perfectly acceptable move at that point. So I could see why you'd be happy, and that's my favorite question. No one knows what this show is, Glitchy Gamer, so you're in the right place. No one knows. We spend equal amounts of time talking about things like where Snickers is appropriately rated in terms of Halloween candy, people's feelings on candy corn. The Showtime Grill was one of my favorite shows we ever did, and there you go. So we'll do a lot of fantasy stuff, but ask whatever question you feel like having. Surprised Steve's not here to entertain us in the comments. Although Steve and I have been busy this week with something that only Jason has seen, and just momentarily before the show. So I stay till the end. Stay till the end. I know it's long, but stay till the end, because I have something for everyone who's willing to stay till the end, because I think it's going to be very entertaining. All right. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Got a lot of that going on this year. And Daniel's here. Daniel's here. Daniel's on time, which I appreciate. And
Perfect.
speaking of Daniel, here we go.
Questions on
Um,
questions. Mm-hmm. So I thought I saw news on Singletary today too. Oh yeah. So right now it looks like the first part of this is going to be Ford and Shaheed for me. The inconsistency of Downs, I still have to see it. I would feel a lot better if it was Flacco, and then
well, for what it's worth, I think it probably will be Flacco this week. We're gonna have this conversation probably more than once. But I think it probably will be Flacco this week, considering Richardson isn't practicing. I know they came out and said, "Oh, it doesn't matter. He might still play," but I'm not sold on that particular line there.
Yeah. Give
So I
Flacco
don't
the
I don't
keys,
know
baby.
about that. All right. So you're gonna go with Ford and Shaheed is what
Shaheed.
you were saying? Okay.
Yeah, just because if Flacco goes, it'd be Downs and Ford. But
Right.
and Singletary has a groin strain, and so he's up in the air for this weekend. And his matchup is, I mean, decent, but not like he's going to be leading the way through any of the.
Yeah. For me, it's Ford and Singletary.
Oh crap! There's
And
BTJ too.
right, and
I missed that
BTJ
one
is
sneaking in.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's sneaking in on the side there, but I'm not
Ooh.
gonna go with. I don't think I'm going with that.
I'd actually go Ford and BTJ. Unless Flacco plays, then it's going to be down and Ford.
Yeah. All right. All right. So it's Ford and BTJ unless Flacco plays. There you go, Daniel. Half PPR: Wandale, Addison, Downs, Kirk, or Leggett.
It's half. Probably going to be Leggett.
Yeah, it's only one. It looks like.
Yeah.
And just gotta adjust something real quick. No, I don't like that.
Because full definitely Wandale. He's just such a safe play.
I'm thinking about it being
Addison?
No, I'm thinking about it being Wandale anyway.
It's just the half.
I know.
That takes him down to like his bottom. His bottom's gonna be like 7.
Yeah, it's not Leggett for me. I'd say it's. I know, and I'd say I'd go about it this way, Daniel. If I felt like I was going to win that game, then if I felt like I was winning and I was in good shape, I'd play Wandale because his floor is a little higher. But the upside play is definitely Addison.
Yeah,
the upside play is
him that
definitely
first
Addison.
game was impressive.
Yeah, if I felt like I needed to swing to hit a home run here, Addison's my home run swing. So if you're in that situation, then that's what I would go with. And then last one, PPR: Godwin, Neighbors, Reed, Flowers, London, or Hall. I'm assuming that's Brees Hall.
Yeah. So it's definitely gonna be Reed. If Neighbors goes, that's the question right now. He's in concussion protocol. Theoretically, he should be able to go. But
yeah, it's going to be Hall, Neighbors, Reed, assuming that Neighbors is playing. So really, it becomes a conversation for me of whether or not Neighbors is playing. Who do you pivot to?
Godwin versus the Falcons. Falcons have actually been really good against not giving up big plays, so that hurts Evans and really benefits Godwin. So
yeah, the problem is isn't that a tomorrow decision? Pretty positive that's a tomorrow decision. So that's where I was like, that makes that tricky, because in a vacuum, I'd say you're probably right. Godwin would be the pivot, but you'd have to make that decision tomorrow.
I'm fine with Flowers too, honestly. Faces the Bengals. Not too worried about that. It's also just I'm more worried that they do what they
Because
did last
London would
time.
also be a tomorrow. London would also be a tomorrow decision.
Yeah, well,
So the way I have it ranked, it would be Neighbors Reed Hall is what it would be. The only conversation is Neighbors. 2 of your pivots, you'd have to make this decision tomorrow. So in reality, I'm probably not making this decision tomorrow because I'd rather play Neighbors if he could clear. And that leaves you with Flowers. So that's how I would approach this. Is unless you're comfortable playing a Thursday night player, Daniel, I think that's kind of where you go.
yeah. Like I said,
So
again, my only real worry for Flowers is they're going to do what they did last time and only have to throw it 15 or 16 times.
yeah, that could happen.
If that defense looks like it did in that last game, yeah.
I think we're more or less on the same page. I'd say overall though, I would be waiting till the weekend because I don't see how you could sit Neighbors. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. You can have any conversation you want. That man is on such an incredible heater that I don't see how you could justify. I'd be waiting till the last minute to see if I could play him, and I'd be willing to take the downgrade to go all the way to Flowers if I had to, just for the upside of playing Neighbors. I don't think I would want to risk a Thursday night play. So I'd probably hold off and wait until the very last second on that one, and that would put you in the position of having to pivot to Flowers. So I hope that's helpful, but that's what I would do. All right. Oh boy. Yeah, Daniel, there's a club for that called Everybody. We meet at the bar. That's that. Yeah, that's a brutal one. Yeah, I've played some leagues like that too that have no, I played some leagues like that that have rules like that where if they're out, you can't put them on IR because if you put them on IR, they're gone for the year. So I know that pain. I know that pain. I don't like that rule particularly, but kind of what it is. So real question though, any news on Jonathan Taylor? Not really. He's not practicing
Yeah,
yet, but
that's
it's
nice.
Wednesday. So I'll tell you, I know they're saying it's a mild high ankle sprain. I would be concerned that he doesn't play. That would be my major concern here is that he is out. And I'm looking at in my rankings, I have him rated appropriately, but I'm curious where they have him in the ECRs. That's where I'm scrolling to. What do you think, Jason? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you have Taylor, you're probably gonna have to pivot, and based on who you have, I'm probably dropping Shaheed because he probably just got Wicks. You would want to keep him there for at least the next couple weeks because same point. Watson has a mild high ankle sprain. So, and I doubt you're dropping Irving and then Robinson is also on the injury report. So,
To me, it's always who's most likely that you'd be able to re-pick up. And more than likely, you're not getting JSN back. Like the minute JSN leaves your roster, that's over.
Yeah.
And you'd probably get a fun message from whoever picked him up. So I wouldn't want to deal with that. Wicks is the same thing because that's the flavor of the week right now. Similar to the baby hippo, Moodang. That's Wicks is the Moodang of fantasy commodities at this point. It's everywhere. It's a very popular thing. If you haven't seen the baby hippo, you can Google
you should
that.
look it up.
Yeah, it's a fun way to spend an hour. Bucky Irving, same thing. It's like you're gonna have that problem.
I really think it's Shaheed.
It probably is Shaheed. Now the question becomes: would you actually do that to pick up Trey Sermon on a 1-week rental?
Well, that's just it. If it's a mild high ankle sprain, I think it's probably going closer to 2 or 3 weeks. So yes, I would be doing that.
I'd almost like to see the rest of the team. Like what else is on this
Flacco.
team?
Flacco
There's something else that I could drop. I don't really want to drop any of this if I could avoid it. I get the question because I wouldn't want to drop any of this. Eckler would have a certain appeal because he's also hurt, but it's the same thing. You're dropping a running back. You're probably not getting the running back back. I would need to know more. Knowing the information I have, it would be Shaheed, but I don't like it. I don't like the idea of dropping Shaheed to pick up Sermon, who would be the pickup, by the way, based on what you're talking about here, because your other likely options are things like Donta Foreman, which I don't want, Miles Sanders, Carson Steele, Jamal Williams, Ty Johnson, Dare Agumbawale. These are not things I want. Whereas Sermon, I have Sermon at like 32 in my RB ranking, so he's like a high-end RB3 because he's not going to be efficient, and then we don't know who the quarterback is, which would impact my ranking. So I will have to adjust that as we get closer to the weekend once we know what it is. But the problem he has, I can see the problem developing, right? It's play Eckler, or what if Eckler doesn't play? Now he's trending towards playing, right? Like that's the question. So,
Well,
because that's what they say.
was a concussion, so it being 2 weeks is pretty rare. It does happen.
It does happen. Let me ask you this, Jason: Eckler or Sermon? Let's just assume Eckler gets cleared.
It's more based on Robinson. Robinson's the thing that scares me here.
Yeah, okay, fine.
If Robinson's out, yes, I'm taking Eckler because we just saw what Robinson did with all the work, even though McNichols still stole 2 touchdowns, which still bitter on. That one's not going away.
Daniel, I think I'm waiting. I think I'm just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah.
I think I would wait. Unless you could give me some more insight on what's else is on your team, I think I would just wait and see what's up. Because if you've already made it through waivers to this point and Sermon is still there, what are the odds he's going to get picked up tonight or tomorrow or Friday? You know what I mean? Like, I might just wait and then ask this question on hit us up on the Discord or hit up Jason on the side or do what you do. Like get that worked out, because I might wait on this because I might just play Eckler. That's going to become the issue. Because yes, the vulturing is annoying, Jason. I get that, but and I saw your thing about it. But I mean, like he also didn't specify PPR, so I assume PPR. But that would change it as well, right? Like if this is not PPR, I kind of don't care about Eckler anymore, and I might be more willing to cut Eckler. You know what I mean? In non-PPR, Eckler kind of doesn't matter to me because it's touchdown or bust. And in that scenario where we're not playing PPR, and then of course it could be half point. So I would need a little bit more info on this one. All right.
Soaring Eagle.
So I know. Soaring Eagle for the first time this year. Dynasty Superflex trade. I love it. Traded Patrick Mahomes. Probably a good call at this point. So having a conversation about that actually with some people I know in real life. I honestly think I'm 2-2 in spite of probably 2026 third rounder for Jordan Love, who's my super. I mean, the 2026 third rounder means nothing to me.
Yeah.
Because that's so far in the future that I assign it almost no value. So basically, it's like you traded Patrick Mahomes for Jordan Love straight up. And I know that this sounds to normal people, this sounds like an insane thing to say, but I'm good with it. In real life football, Patrick Mahomes is like a serious thing. You know what I mean? Like it's a thing that means a lot. But for fantasy, Patrick Mahomes hasn't been good in a long time. What's the stat? He hasn't put up 20 fantasy points in like 20 consecutive starts. I think we're up to now.
It was since week 8 of last year.
Yeah, since week 8 of last year, he has yet to crack 20 fantasy points. And I just don't see it changing because, and Jason, I'll just finish my thought and I'll move it to you. They can't do anything on that team because they're in cap hell. And they're going to be in cap hell for the foreseeable future. That's not going to change. And then you're looking at a reality now where we don't know yet, by the way. We'll get into this, but we don't know. But you're looking at a likely scenario where they won't have Rashee Rice for the remainder of the year. So you're down to basically the rookie, Xavier Worthy, and Kelsey, and nothing. That team is starting to look like a MASH unit.
Yeah, Juju and Nicole. Names from 2 or 3 years ago.
Might be good enough to win actual NFL games, but not exactly going to light the lamp for you in fantasy. And then I was having a conversation with someone I know in real life. We were talking about this, and I mentioned to them that he was playing against Patrick Mahomes, and he's like, "Should I be worried?" And I was like, "No, you'll be fine. You're going to win that game," because he was winning and he had Lamar, and it was going to come down to Lamar v. Mahomes. It looked like, and I'm like, "You're going to win. You'll be fine." And he's like, "Really?" But I'm scared of Mahomes, and I'm like, drafting Patrick Mahomes early, which this guy clearly did because he showed me his phone and I saw his team. So I was like, "That's the mark of a noob." It's the mark of the noob. It's at this point. There's no universe where drafting Patrick Mahomes in like the third round is a good idea. It hasn't been for a long time. And we covered that on 32 teams in 32 days. So Jason, what do you think about this deal? Are you good with this?
Yeah, I mean, I that and the fact that I just like loves weapons a lot. I mean, they kind of built that very well for fantasy purposes.
Well, yeah. Okay. All right.
It's the exact opposite of Mahomes' team.
Let's go. Right. Yeah, exactly. Well, you're watching something that, the NFL is designed to work this way. It takes a long time. I think some people would like it to work faster. That's why when people say the cap doesn't matter, it's like, no, the cap does matter.
And you're going to see why, because they're definitely not getting Devontae Adams.
It matters on like a 3-year window. Like it matters like 3 years later.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem with the cap, is that people want it to hurt now. And it's like, well, it does hurt, but it hurts over time. It's death by 1,000 paper cuts. It's not lopping your arm off. Like it takes a while, but then you'll see teams where this eventually becomes an issue. The Chargers just went through it. And then that's part of why they won't get Adams. The other reason is the division. Even the Raiders aren't going to just fork over Adams to their division rival. Steven was talking about this with people in our Discord throughout the week. I was reading his conversation. He is correct that even the Raiders wouldn't do that. Like they're not going to do that. So we're back to Daniel real quick here because he did furnish. So his others would be McDaniel. No.
I mean, I might be okay dropping McBride, but I still rather train.
No. I like his other options better. It is PPR, and the reason he has Eckler is because he cut Ty Chandler for Eckler. Okay, well that makes a certain amount of sense. Yeah. So in reality, that's where we boomerang back to. It's Eckler in PPR or Sermon in PPR. So it's Eckler v. Sermon. I can tell you right now, I have Sermon rated slightly higher, but that's only because I don't know what the Eckler in status is. So I'd say I would wait on this, Daniel, like 2 more days, and let's see if Eckler can clear the protocol. That's what I would do. What do you think, Jason? Would you cut? Because I think it's probably that. I'm not cutting anyone else, but that's just me. If you want
the only person I would be okay cutting would, like I said, was Shaheed, and that's tough to do until you know something like definitive.
So I think we're back to waiting. And Soren Eagle, congrats. We both think you won that trade to the extent that things like that are possible. We'll come back to Daniel real quick because Skylar has a couple quick hitters. We'll do some Skylar questions real quick. Hunt or Leggett full PPR?
Leggett.
Yeah, I figured you would say that.
Mostly because now that CEH is prepped to return too, that backfield was ugly this past week. I mean, Hunt got the work, but to what extent does that actually matter?
As much as I hate it, I'm gonna agree. I don't want to play Leggett, but I will in this case, just because I don't know enough about what's going on in Kansas City at this point, backfield wise, to deal with that.
Well, and they play the Saints.
They do. they do.
Doesn't help.
That's part of it. Whereas, and Leggett's going to draw Chicago, which isn't good either.
So I'll be more worried if Johnson's out because he popped up today on the injury report as well. So that will be something else to be watching.
Okay, so Jets or Vikings defense?
Vikings.
I have Jets. Yeah.
I get it, but Vikings defense has just played very well this year.
So. Okay, then Jets or Packers?
That Jets because I don't like the Packers.
But in reality, you would say Vikings over Packers anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not playing the Packers. Okay, let's just eliminate the Packers. I'm not playing the Packers defense. It's not happening. Is the Seahawks defense available? I'm not kidding. Because if Neighbors ain't playing, yeah, like that's where we are. Okay, so Jason, I'm gonna say Jets. Jason's gonna say Vikings. So we're gonna split that one.
The second one, we were both going Jets.
We are, yeah, we're eliminating Packers entirely. Kincaid or Bowers?
Bowers.
Just double checking, but yeah, agreed. Bowers. And White or Irving at RB2 with Barkley on bye. Still White for me.
In PPR, yes, it's White. Otherwise, Irving.
Yeah. Unfortunate. It's the whole show, baby. It's the whole show.
It's not. We don't hate them. Their defense is just.
I'm coming back. Bad. I'm coming back to you, Glitchy Gamer. That's gonna take a second. I got to lay out for that question. We're going to do a couple quick hitters. I'm going to come back to you. Don't go anywhere. No. It's a good question. It's a good question, but it's a trade question, and you know how that goes. It takes a second.
Oh yeah, my brain doesn't function.
Yeah. We got. Let's do Daniel's stuff real quick, and then we'll go. He's been waiting patiently, and he had to type it twice. I
think we're back to the point of if Flacco.
Well, right. If it's Flacco, it's Pittman because Pittman vaults. I love how everyone that isn't Richardson can figure this out. Whether it's Flacco or Gardner Minshew or Phillip Rivers, it doesn't matter. Everybody except for Richardson figures this out. That Pittman's really talented, but Richardson can't figure it out. It's almost like he's not a.
He had 2 good passes to him.
It's almost like he's not an actual quarterback and he's a running back that plays quarterback. But I digress. I digress from that point. My very salient and accurate point. I digress from that. Because we'll spend all day talking about it. So I'd say it's Pittman by a good clip if I find out that it's if I find out that it's Flacco. It's Pittman going hard.
Then Olave and Wandale. Otherwise, you're going to probably go to JSN.
Yeah. I'm gonna play JSN, Olave, Pittman. That's what I got. So yeah, JSN, Olave, Pittman, and then if I find out that Pittman, it's Richardson. We have a conversation about Wandale. We have a conversation about it.
If Neighbors is out.
If Neighbors is out, also moves Wandale up. But that's where we are.
I figured I'd play both sides of that coin real quick.
The problem with that is that there is a downside to that.
Yeah, I know.
He's gonna get way more attention, which I don't love. That's why I'm saying it's a conversation about it at that point. I kind of like where Wandale is as it relates to Neighbors being on the field. Because he moves the coverage away. And if it's just Wandale by himself, we've seen that. It doesn't go great. Like, Wandale's not really, like, I love Wandale Robinson for his skill set, but he's not really like an alpha wide receiver. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really work when he has to do it by himself. All right. Daniel made a very nice donation, so he's covered all his standard questions for the year. Because I told him it's 50 cents a standard question. So he covered that. He got that taken care of. He did it for the year. He just gave us $10 and said, "Here you go. I love it." So we have to answer them now. I can't be mean to him. We have to actually do it. So let's see here.
Well, that becomes an issue because we're not sure who's playing on that.
Brian Robinson, Mixon, Hall. Oh, it's easy. No, because Mixon's not playing. I am sure. Mixon's not playing. So there we go. Mixon and neither Mixon or Pierce have been at practice yet. And until I start seeing consistent practice from both of those two individuals, we're not doing this. I'm not playing Mixon. So the decision gets made on its own. We just eliminate Mixon and we're gone. Because I don't see Mixon playing. I don't think it's happening. You want to counter me on that, or?
Well, again, it's just we're not even sure Brian Robinson's playing. The fact that he popped up makes me nervous too.
I think Brian Robinson's playing.
I would assume so, but like maybe having that full workload and then seeing McNichols piss me off. Like I don't know what else to tell you.
I think Robinson's
the fact that Robinson didn't have like 40 fantasy points really just grinds my gears because I lost to Walker. Going off
okay, it doesn't matter. Let's not spend any more time on things that don't matter because
it doesn't matter.
Well, to you it does. Robinson and Mixon, it's two sides of the same coin, right? It works the same. It works the same way. It's one of two.
Yeah.
Okay, if they're both hurt, then play the one that ends up playing. And if neither one of them play, the question is irrelevant. So.
Well, would you rather go both of them if they both play?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm going to play Breece Hall because I'm not afraid. I'm not a coward. I'm not a coward who's going to be scared off by one bad game in the rain against a defense that's actually really good. I'm not a coward, unlike the internet, which is loaded with cowards, is what we've learned this week. Cowards.
The thing is, if Mixon goes, the matchup is so excellent. Like that's my only thing is like, you just saw Henry destroy the Bills.
I'd point out that there is a difference between Derrick Henry and
I
Joe
understand,
Mixon,
but I could see it working both ways here.
Yeah. I've made my peace. I've said what I said. I'm at where I'm at. I'm not playing both. The risk of recursion there is too high. It's too high. Mixon goes out, takes 2 carries, and then gets hurt and is done. Brian Robinson, same problem. So you're going to play Hall no matter what, I think, just because he's not on the injury report. But ask this question again on Sunday, Daniel. I know I'll see you on Sunday. Pick 2 in standard. Walker, Achane, Jones. Walker and Jones.
Yep.
Easy peasy. No Dolphins is the new rule. No Dolphins. We just don't like Dolphins anymore. Sorry to everyone who invested heavily in Dolphins, but this is not good. And then last one for this set of Daniel questions. Half PPR, Adunze, Kirk, Wandale, Jennings. That's a good question. That's a real question.
I think it's going to be Kirk and Wandale.
Yeah, I think it's Kirk and Wandale as well. However,
Jennings has been annoying as crap.
Jennings, if people are hurt and they end up getting ruled out, then I will sit Kirk and play Jennings. No debate on that. Like, if we find out that, for example, Kittle and Debo aren't playing, Jennings to the moon is what we've learned. But when both Kittle and Debo and Ayuk are playing, Jennings isn't really startable. Jennings has kind of turned into this weird wide receiver handcuff.
Which happens, I guess.
We did pick 2. Daniel.
So the other thing about...
Hang on. Okay. Daniel, we did pick 2. It was Kirk and Wandale.
Yeah.
And then if, for whatever reason, the 49ers start ruling out their players, we play Jennings. And we did pick 2 in the other question. It was Walker and Jones. So I'm just making sure he heard us. Like, that's we did pick 2. All right, we did all that.
Yeah, so
where do we have Fields ranked this week? I have Fields ranked fairly high, actually. I have Justin Fields at 6. Do I have him over Dak and Kyler?
Over Dak, yes.
Yes, actually.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, I do. It is close between Kyler, but I do have Fields over both, based largely on the idea that Dallas's defense has been incredibly inconsistent.
And just lost another part of it.
And also that Fields is starting to look comfortable. It's almost starting to look like the problem isn't the former Bears players, it is the Bears themselves. Who'd have been telling you that for years?
But now, Wilson's starting to feel better.
Yeah. So yeah, we'd recommend Fields, Daniel. Did I make a mistake dropping Dobbs for Wicks?
I mean, no, not for now. I mean, Wicks is clearly taking into Watson. Dobbs just is getting his cardio in every week.
Yeah. I think you're fine. I'm not worried about that.
I wish Dobbs would be traded. That's what somebody should aim for. Somebody should grab Dobbs.
As I've said since 32 teams in 32 days, the prize here is Reed. And the rest of it has value, but it's going to be real wonky. And I'm not looking forward to when Watson inevitably comes back and we have to have this conversation all over again. Pick 2, PPR. Wilson, Olave, Shaheed, McLaurin, JSN, or Wicks.
Olave and Wicks.
Yeah, I have it as Olave.
Did you go McLaurin over it?
No, I have it as
still scared.
No, I have it as Olave and Wilson because as I said, I'm not a coward. I'm not giving up on things that quickly.
Oh,
I know
no,
it's ugly.
I just don't like the matchup for Wilson.
Yeah, again,
I do think he hits double digits again this week.
I'm not afraid of it. I roll out my studs, Olave and Wilson. If you are interested, my next one would be McLaurin. If you're at a point where you just will not play Wilson until you see it, fine. I don't agree, but fine. I would play McLaurin. It seems like they're making a concerted effort to get him football. Why that took 4 weeks to figure out, I don't know, but that's what they're doing. And if I was still afraid of McLaurin for some reason that boggles the mind, I would play JSN.
Wow, you just hate Wicks.
Yes. Yes, I do.
I just think that matchup is so good right now. Versus the Packers and Rams are just about to be all offense all day.
To be fair, Jason, I have Wicks at 31, so it's not like I totally hate him. Like it's
still starting.
Yeah, he'd still be starting. It's just I would prefer the other names here.
My worry for JSN is again Walker.
Yeah. Oh wait, we covered that. Don't read that. Okay. Who's a good RB I could trade Tank Dell for? Yeah, that's going to be tricky. That's going to be tricky at this point.
Dell hasn't done a whole lot.
Yeah, Dell hasn't done much, and right now I've got him because of the injury. I've got him rated at 56 for this week, so I got to go rest of season here. Bear with me while I get my rest of season rankings up. And I'm going to assume PPR unless you tell me differently. Yeah, I have Dell at 91 ROS. You're not going to like, I'd say like Nick Chubb.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
You're in Nick Chubb territory where it's like, hasn't done anything. Injured. Come on.
Joe Mixon?
I have Mixon higher than that, I think.
Yeah, because he had a good week 1 and then he got injured.
Yeah, I know.
But
I have Mixon higher than that.
Okay.
You're down here in little purgatory. Yeah. Let's see. What about like Bucky Irving?
Well, it looks like he has JT Robinson, Sermon, Nick Chubb, Rashad White, and Irving. So he has all the people we would trade.
Oh, okay, great. So it's everything that I would already recommend. Perfect. Harris? Nice to see my reading comprehension is right where it normally is. I think you could get Eckler. I think you could get Chase Brown. Zach Charbonnet. Ooh, I know who I would want. Jonathan Brooks.
Oh, yeah.
I would want Jonathan Brooks. That would be the first thing I would do. Is I would see if I could acquire Jonathan Brooks because he hasn't done anything. He's languishing on people's IR, but he's one that when he actually gets healthy, I'd be very interested to see what I could get out of him. That's kind of where I'm at. And then is there anything lower that might be easier? Yeah, he already has Chubb. It doesn't help. See, the problem is it goes off a cliff so aggressively because you start getting into the Zamir Whites of the world, and at that point, I'm not interested.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson,
Pacheco. I don't want that. Like, I don't. There's a lot of things I don't want down lower. It's a lot of ugly stuff.
Jaylen Warren.
You really think that's gonna? I mean,
You'd
the
want
question
something else
becomes,
with
would I
it.
want Warren? He looks genuinely hurt. Like, and he's gonna try to play through it. So I don't know. Warren would be doable, but would you want him? Would you rather just deal, or would you rather just deal with Tank Dell?
I mean, I'm rolling out Tank Dell, but
I'm probably keeping Tank Dell if we're going down to Warren.
to be
I
fair,
would
I'm
just
probably
keep him.
taking Dell over all of the names listed except for maybe Mixon.
Yeah, but I don't think you're gonna get Mixon. You could
I
try,
understand that.
but I don't
But
think you're gonna get Mixon. I think they would decline that. And you already have a lot of the guys. I think
yeah.
you could get Najee Harris, but I question whether or not you'd want that. So that becomes the thing where it's like you could probably get Chuba Hubbard too, but like, would you want it, knowing that Brooks is coming in to mess that up for you? So that's where it is. I'd say my first pitch on this would be Brooks, because I'm assuming if you're trading Tank Dell, you don't need Tank Dell. It's superfluous for your team. So I would move on if I could, and I would be interested in Jonathan Brooks. That would be my first swing out of the cage. And then second swing out of the cage would be I would move to look into potentially Chase Brown. And honestly, beyond that, I start getting to the point where I might just hold him. Because you start getting into the Ecklers and things like that, where it's like, is that really helping you? You know what I mean? Like, is that really helping you? What do you think, Jason? You and I evaluate this very differently is the problem. I
Yeah,
know
I
your
mean,
Tank Dell shot call from the preseason, which is looking great, by the way. Not
well,
scratched and dented at
I'm
all.
immediately getting injured and like it hasn't been a super. So I don't know, man. I don't really like any of it. Like I said, I'd rather just hold Dell if outside of Chubb or Brooks. I mean, even that I'm
He
iffy on.
he has Chubb. So I'm saying
Yeah,
it's not
I know.
helping.
That's why I was like, but
Like,
Brooks is like the only thing that you said that I'm like, maybe it's just such a
I would shoot my shot on Brooks to start there and see if I could get that deal done. That would be my starting point. And then I would be willing to take a run at Chase Brown. I take a run at that. Uh, that I think would be worth your time. And then beyond that, you're down in like the Austin Eckler territory. Maybe you could get Najee Harris. I don't know that you really want any of that. And then same thing with Warren. I don't know that I want Warren. And I'm a big Warren supporter, as you know, but I've seen him play a lot this year, and he's limping. Like something's not right with Warren right now. And I don't know that that's the kind of thing that's just going to fix itself with a week off. You know what I mean? He hasn't looked right since we started. The last time I saw him look right was in the preseason, where he looked like he had his normal burst. And then since then, he clearly has gotten whacked and something is not firing. So much so that they even mentioned it when they sat him down. That they were like, "You look like you're limping. Go sit down." I don't think 1 week off is going to fix that problem. And Soren Eagle, I hate to tell you, but I think Jason's going to tell you just hold Dell, because I don't think Jason's in a position to want to trade Dell yet. So I'd say start with Brooks and then let us know if that's doable. Bijan and Algier, do I play both or do I play either Irving or Eckler?
PPR. It's going to be Eckler. Standard, it will be Irving with Bijan.
Yeah, you're playing Bijan because he came off the injury report today. So if that's what's worrying you, and then I would say, yeah, you're gonna play Bijan with Irving is the way I would do it, and then it would be second choice would be Bijan and Eckler if Eckler can clear the protocol. Even if he does, I might still play Irving. So, but you're not. I wouldn't play both Falcons on Thursday. Would not do that, Polo. And now we're going to get back to Glitchy Gamer because I'm sorry to make you wait, but this is going to take a certain amount. You just saw what happens when we do trade questions. It takes a moment to unpack this. So, Glitchy Gamer, we'll go through this here properly. What could I trade Waddle for?
What wide receiver?
What wide receiver could I trade Waddle for?
Fortunately, it's not going to be a lot.
Yeah, that's going to be your problem. Is it's not so much Waddle that's the issue here. It's the quarterback situation. Now, I have read a lot today that there is a lot of speculation that Tua is going to come back and play football this season. That is what Adam Schefter's reporting. The local beat guys are reporting this. I think it seems kind of reckless if you ask me, but I'm not him, and there you go. I can tell you right now that I think there is a universe where you could literally trade him for Tank Dell straight up. And Jason would tell you to do that.
Absolutely.
That's what Jason would have you do. But Jason's Tank Dell ranking is very different than other people's.
I mean, you might actually be okay. Can you do it for Garrett Wilson?
I don't think anyone's going to do that.
Why?
Because
they're both trash right now.
Okay, but Garrett Wilson
My
has
trash for your trash.
Garrett Wilson has seriously much higher investment for Garrett Wilson. You're talking about a first-round pick.
I understand.
Second reason is Aaron Rodgers is still playing, so there's still hope that they might figure that out. Okay, like sure, you want to float that trade to somebody and see how desperate they are, but here's the problem: if I'm the Wilson manager, I'm going to block you first of all, but not before I send you a series of middle finger gifts. I will take time out of my day, my precious tiny little free time that I have, to send you a series of gifts of people giving each other the middle finger and then block you, because that's insulting. I would view that as insulting, because the Wilson manager is still hoping that Aaron Rodgers and him can figure this out. It's not the kind of thing that is going to get that you just throw away like immediately because of a couple down weeks. Whereas the other situation is his quarterback isn't playing, and we've seen all the backups are garbage. We've seen that now, and they're not going to get another backup because now there's the hope that Tua might come back and fix it for daddy. But even if that happened, he still wouldn't approach the ceiling that Wilson offers you. So again, I go back to my series of middle finger, not one middle finger gift, a series of them that I will have to go find and send to you. So no, I would not recommend doing that. I mean, feel free if that's what you want to do, but if I'm on the other end of that trade, I'm blocking you, is what's going to happen for wasting my time. So I'm going to send you a series of inappropriate gifts and then block you and probably not speak to you for a while. Because that's how I deal with people who waste my time. Window into my world. So that's where it is. Now, I'll tell you where I'm at with it. I think you could get Tank Dell if you were willing to a similar my guy for your guy type of deal. My problems for your problems would be one. The other one that I would think about is Puka. I think Puka would be very realistic here, but you'd have to be in a position to where you could afford to wait to do that. Cup would also be acceptable. I've got those two right next to each other. If you're looking for things that it depends on the context of the trade. Do I need something that I can play now, or am I 4-0 and I can wait? Am I 4-0 despite Waddle and I can wait? It's probably not, but it matters for the purposes of this conversation. So if I need something that I could play now, I think you're looking at something like it makes me want to throw up in my mouth, but Lad McConkey, who had one good game, and now there's the bye. So there's that situation that might play in your favor. There's Khalil Shakir, who I have rated very similarly at this point, but that's got a case. That's a case of the feels bads to do that.
Pickens? He's kind of on an upside.
I have Pickens rated pretty high compared to where we are here. What I'm discussing is I have Jalen Waddle rated at 37 at wide receiver rest of season, right? That's where I have it. So he's just outside of flex territory because I don't fully believe that they're going to fix this quarterback problem right away. So it's like you're stuck in this purgatory where it's like, okay, I would like you're looking at like things that also have problems, but could present you a significant amount of upside later, or you're looking at things that you hope are going to get better. I'd say what I would start with is JSN. That would be my starting point, is trying to get JSN. Because I think that's fair. If I couldn't do that, I pivot to T. Higgins. If I need things that I can try and get now before T. Higgins explodes and then becomes unaffordable. There's that type of thing. Then we get into the idea of Xavier Worthy. I don't know how you feel about that. Yeah,
Nope.
that's see what I mean? That's like
I was actually
great.
thinking something like, again, don't love it, but Pittman.
Yeah, I've got Pittman like 10 spots higher than that because
you say that, but again, you have to look at the general perception right now. People have asked me multiple times, do I just drop him for somebody?
Yeah, so I know the show we do. People overreact to everything. They get all up in their feelings.
Somebody could. And if they're like, oh, I could get Waddle for this piece of trash.
Sure. If that's going to be your attitude, then
yeah.
Okay.
That's what you have
start.
to
start at Garrett Wilson, and then just go down the list and just start at everyone who's struggling, irrespective of any kind of logic or reasoning. Just start at AJ Brown because he's missed 2 games, and just go down the list.
Yep.
Then just
I would include AJ Brown on that list.
I would argue that is an extreme waste of your time. But if you have that kind of time, go nuts.
It takes 5 seconds to send a trade offer.
Then it takes 2 more seconds for me to block you.
And that's fine.
So I tend to not.
Somebody's going to do it.
I tend to not send trade offers like that to people.
AJ Brown will be a little more difficult because he's more likely to come back.
But if we're following your logic, then you're starting at AJ Brown. You're going to Marvin Harrison because he struggled for a week. We're going to Garrett Wilson because Aaron Rodgers is washed. If we're going to play straight narrative analysis, then that's what we're going to do. This is going to be a long segment, homie. This is the rest of the show.
Yeah.
I feel like this has become trade him for Tyreek. That makes absolutely, you're nodding, but that makes absolutely no logical sense. It's ridiculous.
Well,
it's a ridiculous statement.
Yeah. My thing is, again, I understand Tua comes back, but like, are you out of the playoffs already? Because guess what? Waddle Hill doesn't matter. Like, you need something that's going to help you now.
I'm looking at things that I could realistically get done, as opposed to trying to make an offer for every. Here you go. See, this is reasonable. This is like what I'm talking about, where it's like you're looking at Christian Kirk, Khalil Shakir, maybe Calvin Ridley.
It's the same logic. I don't.
No,
it's also not been good until recently.
It's not. You're talking about investment. An investment in capital is part of this. It's not. What you're talking about, Jason, is just based on pure emotion.
Yes.
And you're trying to go to
right now.
You're trying to go to people that are just like in full on rage mode, and starting there. That's where we are. Oh my God, okay. Well, Jason's right. So there you go.
You're welcome. Yeah,
Jason's. Yeah, so I just start throwing off random.
That's what you
so I just start throwing off. So that's the key. You just say random bullshit words, and then people do it.
Yes.
Glitchy, invite me to your league. I need to make some money. I need to make some money, homie. Because I literally threw that out there as a joke, like Marvin Harrison, because he struggled for a week.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So
I know. See, we have a little bit different view because of the people we normally play with are seasoned people who don't just take one bad week.
That is straight up. That's a mistake. Congratulations, Glitchy. I'm glad that I was able to help by throwing off random stupid examples, and it actually worked. Like that's you gotta love when a plan comes together. That's insane. Because I will. Where did I even have Marvin Harrison rest of season?
Currently the wide receiver 13.
I have Marvin Harrison at 8 rest of season. So That's highway robbery, sir.
See, you guys.
You are welcome, sir. You are welcome. Steve, this is where Steve and I live in a world where people like do things that make sense, and sometimes you gotta forget about that and live in Jason land where people just operate on pure emotion and don't think about things.
Well, that's just it. I see it all the time. You've seen my Sunday show. Like people are always.
Yeah, I moderate it. Trust me, I'm there.
That's why I was like, okay, might as well.
I like how the question is, what's a decent wide receiver I could trade for Waddle? And that's how I'm answering the question. Not how do I straight up rob a dude? And that's where we wound up. Is how do I commit robbery? Is how we've made it. Is where we've made it to. That is just the most insane. Well, like, comment, subscribe. Comment, subscribe, sign up for the Discord. There you go. Go ahead, Jason. Sorry, I cut you off. What were you gonna say?
No, you're all good. That it's just we've gone over it. I see it every day in different leagues for different people. It's like the things you can get done. Sky's the limit. Shoot for it and see. Worst they can say is no, and then you move down the list.
The worst they could say is me and send you a series of middle finger gifts and block you. That's the worst they can do. But then which is what he should have done. Which is what should have happened. I'd like to point that out. That is what should have happened. But hey, life is chaos, as we know. That's awesome. What a robbery. Holy cow. I hope you don't know that guy in real life, or like he's like your friend or something, because probably not going to be your friend anymore after that one.
Or he's a Dolphins fan.
Maybe. We don't know. Jason is technically correct. We don't know. And to Jason's point, I do tune in on the Sunday show, and it is interesting to see the public perception of certain things. Steve and I, and Jason, you do too. We do live in like expert land where people don't do things like this, and so you wouldn't do it if you're playing against the public. I guess I don't play enough leagues against the public. That might be my problem. That might be the problem.
You also try not to play friends because.
Yeah, don't do that to friends.
That's why.
Family, different story though. That's family. That's family.
Just like Monopoly with friends. You don't do that either.
Yeah, don't play Monopoly with your friends. Risk too, to a certain extent.
Congrats.
Yeah, no kidding.
You should try and also get Brian Thomas Jr. while you're at it.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well.
Yeah.
Like, what other trash do you got? What other trash you got on this team? Because you're hot, baby. Keep rolling now. I would be making all kinds of bullshit trade offers. That'd be the rest of my night. Keep going. Like, yeah, at this point, you're playing with house money moving forward. What else could I do?
Cha-ching.
Yeah, no kidding. Pitts is fired. Schultz, Henry, Otten.
Eric All, baby.
Eric All. Pitts is fired.
It's probably Otten. Just talk about another cardio king.
Talk about other things that are fired.
Yeah.
All of this is fired. That's rest of season. Hang on, let me go back to my.
It's interesting because the thing that I like, and I think I did it in our Dynasty League together, I picked up Eric All. Just because as a rookie, kind of like that he's been seeing targets. And there's hope there with Higgins gone next year.
But I'm assuming this is like for like a streaming type of question. It's different if you're talking about
it's
streaming versus rest of season. I don't want all. Of these on this list, for this week, if we're streaming, it would be Schultz, as much as it makes me want to vomit. And if it's like long term, like rest of season, it's probably Hunter Henry, and I don't feel good about it. And then if you're talking Dynasty, then yes, it's Eric All. If it's Dynasty. Daniel is a coward. Hall, Brian Robinson.
Thank you, Daniel.
Daniel, I appreciate the honesty. I appreciate the straight up honesty here.
Ford and Hall. But man, Stevenson is tempting. It's just the fact that
he's maybe not starting.
yeah. Talk about being a coward.
I have Hall at 2, and the rest of it, I'm sorry, I can't justify anything else on this list, Daniel. I'm sorry, it's gonna be Hall. I know it sucks, but there it is. My favorite part is I didn't even get to this. For a wide receiver deal, yeah, all that's useless. Just throw all that in the trash. Apparently, for a wide receiver deal, it's not. It's not like, yeah, like legitimately. So, all right. Blind waivers are tonight. 90%. What? Ooh, that's a good question.
If you're in need of wide receiver, I'm probably putting in 35%.
I was gonna say 25. I'd put in a quarter. I'd put in a quarter of it. Anything more than 33, I start to get itchy.
Yeah.
Because that's a third of my money. I would want 25. If you feel like you really need this, then 33 is where I'm at. I'll put in a third of it. Yeah, all this is happening in the comments. It's like the Super Bowl.
Finkel is Einhorn?
Yeah, Finkel is Einhorn. Einhorn is Finkel.
Oh man. Well,
here we go.
Angela, welcome back.
Yeah, we got to answer this one correctly. We can't treat it like Daniel.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. Still rolling on Bijan.
Yeah, it's pick 2. So it's Bijan.
I think it's probably going to be Ford.
Yeah, it's Bijan for sure.
Bengals play Ravens, and Bucks play Falcons. And White's already not been super efficient.
Problem is, what's hilarious is I literally have White, Moss, Ford, 27, 28, 29. So this is actually a really good question because it's right there. It's right there. Boy, that's a tough one. This sucks because this is like something that you would feel really good about coming out of your draft room with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'd have walked out of your draft room feeling good about this, and it just isn't. It's just not working as you're for an RB2.
Well, because White and Moss are both splitting.
Yeah, that becomes the issue. And then Ford,
their matchups also sucks.
Cleveland's not.
That's part of the reason I'm going Ford anyway, because it's the Commanders. And
let me check something.
Watson, I mean, if he can just hand the ball off, great. He seems to be good at that.
Yeah, I'm going with Moss. That's where I'm at. Bijan and Moss for me. What was yours, Jason?
Bijan, Ford.
Okay, Bijan. All right, so that's unfortunately not super helpful.
You're starting Bijan.
Yeah, you are starting Bijan. I think that one was obvious, though. I don't think that's the problem. Yeah, I can't trust Ford right now. I can't. No. We got to give her a concise answer. It's Bijan and Ford. We agree. I'll change my answer. It's Bijan and Ford, as much as it gives me highs.
And it's really just based on matchup, because if Moss was playing almost any other defense and the Ravens didn't look
aside from Baltimore, which is what I'm realizing is what you're talking about with the matchup. It's literally Baltimore. That's not good. I don't like that.
They just
and White is
Cook.
Yeah, they just ate Cook alive, and then White is playing on Thursday, splitting, and is nursing a groin. Don't love it. So it kind of by default, I have to change my answer. It has to be Ford going against Washington.
Yes, otherwise I would have completely agreed. Moss would be the correct answer here if it is almost anybody else. Because Moss has been playing very well.
Yeah. Paulo, I'm not worried about it yet. I know it's annoying, but I'm not there yet. Do you play in the league Glitchy plays in? Because if you do, then this will get accepted. That's what we learned.
Might as well try.
His team is Hall, Gibbs.
God.
Yeah. Oh wow, you're stacked. Metcalf and now Harrison and Ayuk. Oh yeah.
You should try and trade Ayuk.
We genuinely helped someone, Jason. We did it. We genuinely helped a person. All right. Need to get Warren off the IR. Need to cut one. Who gets cut? Warren. I'm assuming he means Gus Edwards. Sutton. Jacoby
Dude,
Myers?
you can easily get Edwards back. Just
cut Gus Edwards off this list. Just cut Gus Edwards. It's fine.
No one is gonna.
He's on bye. No one wants him anyway. You could just cut Gus Edwards. It's fine.
Oh yeah.
All right. All right. That is the end of the questions for the time being. I do believe we got them all. It was a little bit of a roller coaster tonight. They're kind of all over the place. And Glitchy, I'm sorry we had to make you wait, but the trade questions take forever, as you saw, and the start sit questions just get mowed down typically. But yeah, so I think we got everything. Well, I'm double checking that we got everything. If I missed you, post it again. But I think I got everything. I'm pretty confident. While I'm doing that, Jason, who's your quarterback start of the week?
I'm going with the quarterback 5 on the year that is just being hated on because of his matchup. Sam Darnold versus the Jets. Dude, until somebody stops him, I'm gonna roll him out there because he's had one game under 20 points, and even then he was flirt with 20 points. Like, I don't. No analysis needed here. He's looking crazy. His first game with the offense, he had 15.6 fantasy points. That was his lowest week. Since then, it's been 20.9, 23.2, and 21.5. Great weapons. Just got Addison back. Actually, really boosted, and they're just activated or designated Hawkinson to return. So, just adding more weapons to an already good offense. And don't know if you noticed, but the Jets have been shooting themselves in the foot. So, while they continue to do that,
they do that.
If they can have the ball close to the end zone already, let's go ahead and do that. Because the Vikings have a good defense. More opportunities, baby.
They definitely do that. They like to shoot themselves in the foot. This is an interesting one because there's lots of good options this week. So it is a little tricky to kind of unpack this. But the problem is it's all players that have been struggling with really good matchups. So Deshaun Watson, Trevor Lawrence, and Caleb Williams all have really good matchups this week. That's the issue here. So you run into that lovely problem. Yep. Those are words that were said. For me, it's going to be Caleb. So I think Caleb, this is the week that we actually start to see it. The problem is that his offensive coordinator doesn't know what he's doing. It's not really a Caleb level issue as far as I'm concerned at this point. It's an offensive coordinator issue and a Bears issue. But this week it would be Caleb. I think it's going to be this week because that Carolina defense is hot trash. So that's where we are. But this is the week of really struggling quarterbacks and bad matchups. And you would normally I would go Trevor here, but Trevor just looks irredeemably terrible until someone gets fired out of that mess. And then the same thing with Deshaun. You can't trust Deshaun at this point. To your point, Jason, I do find it to be criminal that in the ECR, all of those players are ranked ahead of Darnold right now. All of them are ranked ahead of Darnold. So it is very much perplexing. Before we get into
people haven't been watching him. I don't know.
Well,
they're just stuck.
They don't trust it.
Trade him.
I mean, in this situation, you might want to try and trade him. So, what could I get for Ayuk at this point? Let's go see. Rest of season.
Nico call. No, I'm kidding.
No, we're not doing that. You can do that if you want. I'm not doing that. Let's go see.
Hey, Brian Thomas.
I mean, if we're
CD
staying
Lamb.
at wide receiver, yeah, like
Chris Olave.
yeah, all of that would be upgrades. I was thinking he already has Metcalf, so that's not helping.
Yeah.
Olave would be a good one, especially because I like Olave's schedule in the playoffs. Could you get Neighbors? I would absolutely try at this point.
Throw in something else and send it over.
Yeah. I have Ayuk at like 22 rest of season. So there are opportunities to upgrade. But I wouldn't be in a rush to have to go do it. But I would like Olave. Look, if I could do that, I would. And given your situation, I mean, what's the risk in trying at this point?
I said that first, right?
Yeah, you did. That was the first one
Okay.
you said. I have CD Lamb rated at 2 at wide receiver for the rest of the year. So, I mean, at this point, chat, he's playing with house money. Let the man roll the dice. Like, what could you possibly lose at this point? Like, I mean, why not? Like, I would start there. As we saw, I'm not starting high enough for this league, so we got to start all the way at the top and work down.
Yes.
So we start with Lamb, who I have at 2.
Then
Justin Jefferson, and I don't think you're going to get.
No.
He's asking who's number 1 on my list. Justin Jefferson is the literal 1. I really don't think that's going to happen. So I mean, if you want it, I've got Justin Jefferson 1, CD Lamb at 2, Neighbors at 3, Jamar Chase. No, sorry, I skipped one. Amon-Ra St. Brown is 4. Jamar Chase is 5. AJ Brown is at 6 because he's going to come back here after the bye.
And based on that, you might actually be able to do that pretty easily.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. If you want me to write this down, I could. Like, but that's
like you could probably pretty easily get Ayuk and go straight to
the chat. The chat is saying that this is insane, and I'm like, no, I've already seen insane once. So now we know insane is possible. So now we do that. We do it this way. So it's like, I mean, I would literally just rattle off the list at you. Start with Jefferson, go to Lamb, then Neighbors, and then we go to Amon-Ra, and then it's Chase, and then AJ Brown, and then you already got Harrison. So then we go to Nico Collins. That's where we are here.
I was actually, so the way I do this is I actually go and look at the players that are currently doing well. And so, like I said, Brian Thomas is above them. Mike Evans.
I'm not going with Brian Thomas. I'm not doing that. I don't have. I don't even have Brian Thomas rated ahead of Ayuk the rest of the way. So I'm not recommending that. I think you would get that deal done in a heartbeat because I think someone would smash accept on it. But I wouldn't do that. I would agree with you on Olave. I would do it for Olave. The voice of reason. That is a good point. We do know that. But at this point, I mean, if you don't want to wait,
I would wait this 1 week just because this is the game that he almost always beats up the other team. So he faces off, against the Cardinals, I believe. Yes. And so 50% of the time when he plays the Cardinals, he is hitting 20 fantasy points.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. I mean, if you want to wait a week to inflate the value.
Yeah. And then ship it off for whatever you can.
And then ship it off for whatever you think you can
get. Like AJ Brown.
Yeah. Like AJ Brown, for example.
I'd probably try to do that before this week, though, just because.
Well, the longer you wait on the Brown thing, but the problem is you won't have anyone to play this week unless you have something on your bench that you like.
He just got Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, but my understanding from the way he was rattling off what his team is in the comments that I would think. Yeah. See, I think it's the same league, Steve. So that's how I'm approaching this question, is that it's the same league. because I don't know of any other. I mean, he might have multiple leagues. I don't know. A lot of people do, but like this is unclear. And I feel like I haven't seen him typing because I literally feel like he's sending off these trade offers like right now. Like
might as well.
I mean, that's what I would do. Like after I hit the home run once, I would just keep swinging at that point. Like you might as well. Yeah, I'd stick with Ayuk, but exactly if it's the league that's dumb enough to trade, to trade off Harrison, then okay, like then we start with Ayuk for CeeDee Lamb, and we go from there. Well, like that's where we go because I really don't think they're going to give you Jefferson, and I really don't think they're going to give you Neighbors. I just don't envision a world where that would be possible. But at this point, we swing for the fences on every swing in this league. That's what we do because I don't know who you're playing against and like what their damage is in the background. But yeah, keep swinging.
Man, that's so awesome.
All right. Let's get back to the actual show. Well, I figure out where we left off. There you go. You probably did, and if you didn't, then it'll be
sooner or later.
Yeah. And all right, Angela. PPR, pick 2. London, Flowers, Myers, Sutton, Dell, Wandale Robinson.
To be fair,
Yeah,
the past few years have not been great.
Yeah, last year and this year are like the 2 worst years in fantasy that I can. These are like the last 2 worst 2 years in fantasy that I can realistically remember. And I've been doing this since 2005. I started playing in 05, and I'm trying to remember like 2 back-to-back years that would be worse. And it's like the holdout years maybe were worse. Even the COVID years were better than this. Nah, that's actually 2021 was the first year of COVID was real frustrating. Anyway, let's answer the question here.
Flowers and Wandale. I would say Myers, but he's probably going to be the one, which means he's going to have Surtain.
Flowers and Wandale, huh? Oh, I see your issue. No London, huh? No London for you?
It's fine. There's the opportunity there, but Bucks have been playing really well. And if they really want to win, the best opportunity is to pass to Bijan here.
Yeah.
Continues to be the weakness of the Falcons or the Bucks. Sorry.
Oh God, I can't bring myself to sit London. Like I just can't.
I know.
I can't.
It's completely fine.
I'm playing London and Flowers, and I'm going back to the well on this. It's just what I'm doing. I can't bring myself to sit. Oh, we've been gaslit. We've been gaslit. Oh, that's not great. We've been gaslit. That's fantastic. All right. Well, that's life. Sometimes you get gaslit by the chat. It's part of being on stream.
Always fun.
I gave real answers of real trades, by the way, in the beginning of that whole breakdown. So
did
I. Okay.
Man. Oh, geez. Trade question. Not craft. Oh, there's T for craft. But... That's fine.
I would do that.
Yeah.
I would do that. I think that's a very attractive deal. I do have Tucker Kraft at 7.
Make sure it's in writing and it has to go through.
I do have Kraft at 7 this week at tight end, to the extent that even matters, as we'll get into later. And I have Kraft at 14 rest of season, which is not helpful. And I have T. Higgins at 32. So you're basically getting a flex wide receiver for a tight end that's like a spot starter, and you already have Laporta. So what it would open you up for, Daniel, I would do that deal, first of all. I think you're getting the better I think you're getting a better deal. You're getting the right side of that transaction. I would do that. And then the other side of it is it would actually open you up to trade some wide receivers of your own. This is like one of those situations where I'm going to try to trade my way from a paperclip to a house. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to use Kraft to get Higgins. And then I'm going to take Higgins and something else to get something better. And then I'm going to take that and get something better. And that's kind of how I would go about doing this. Steve knows that's how I roll. That's how I roll the craziness that I like to live in, where I'll make one deal to make another deal to make another deal, and we just stamp it out that way. I'm a big proponent of doing that in fantasy. So Daniel, I do think I would do that deal. Jason, let's do quarterback sit of the week real quick.
Yeah. It's Kyler Murray versus the 49ers.
You want to try pronouncing that again?
Kyler Murray?
Okay.
You
said Kylie.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I have something stuck in my throat. I had ramen earlier, and I still think I had like some of that pepper in the back, and it's just messing with me too much. But
all right, Jeffrey.
Well, in any case, Murray. The reason I'm nervous on Murray is really his one big week was against the Rams, who weren't able to do a whole lot. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going up against a decent defense, and it just scares me. I mean, legitimately, his fantasy output this year hasn't been. I mean, like we said, the benchmark for being a quarterback you want to start is 20 points.
Yeah.
Like he's done that once, and now
anything less than that, and you start to get a case of the field ads.
Yeah, I mean, I thought last week he'd have a decent week against the Commanders of all teams, and he put up a 10. Like that.
Yeah, right.
That terrifies me for this week, moving forward in general. When the Commanders, whose defense we've thought were just stick figures out in the field, are stopping him. So,
can I tell you a secret about who my sit is? Can I tell you who it is? It's Patrick Mahomes. We're there. We're at that point. He's playing New Orleans with no weapons. I know he's great. Doesn't matter.
Real football.
Yeah, he's great at real football. Excellent at it. Not really interested in fantasy at this point in time. And I know that you spent a huge draft pick to get him, but we rattled off. There's a million spot starts this week that you can go look at. Sam Darnold is still under the. Double check that. I believe Sam Darnold is. Nope, he's finally over. Okay, he's finally over the 50% threshold. Finally.
It happened this week, baby.
Yeah, finally. I would start Fields over Richardson. We don't even know if Richardson's playing.
Yeah, that's part of it. But
we covered this earlier too. I have Richardson. I have Richardson at 13 pending the injury reports, but I have Fields at 6. And even if Richardson gets cleared, he won't go that high. So it kind of doesn't matter.
Until Richardson starts running again, I don't see a point in playing him.
We covered this, Daniel. We covered this. It's Gus.
Yeah, we're cutting Gus.
It's Gus. Just cut him. No one cares. No one is
going to. You can pick him back up.
Yeah,
later.
You could just pick him up next week because no one's going to claim him. It makes no difference. Like, I know you don't have many RBs. I don't know that I care. In the case of Gus Edwards, like you could just pick him back up. It'll be no problem. We did cover that. All right. All right, Jason, who's your running back start of the week?
Well, because I think it's going to happen. So I'm playing Trey Sermon versus Jags.
Okay.
Even if Taylor's healthy, I think this game gets out of control. Whether it's Richardson or not, I could just see him getting a lot of usage and them running the ball and wanting to make sure that's how they win. Because it's really their only shot. That and throwing to Pittman if Flacco's in it. And if they get up that way, they're gonna run it out with Sermon because the Jags are horrible.
I forgot I can't put anything up because you'll immediately read it. It's like working with Ron Burgundy. It's glitchy. That's not how the game works. They have to be. It's somebody outside the top 32 at running back by our rankings is how the game works. So
24 running back.
24. Sorry, 24. Oh, I've been doing 32. I've been making the game harder on myself. So it's got to be outside the top 24 at running back. Swift is inside the top 24. So it's not a question of total point total, like total upside. It's a question of who can you find outside the top 24 that could help you as a spot starter is more how the game actually works. Well, had I known it was 24, I would have cheated. It's not like we've been doing this show for years together or something.
Yeah, I was like,
you're new to this show. I don't blame you. It's
to this show, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like I know he's on other shows, but to this show, this isn't probably new. Yeah. Had I known that, I would have cheated and gone like way higher up the list. But for me, it's Antonio Gibson because in all likelihood, he's going to get the start until he inevitably himself fumbles, and then he will get benched. But for that glorious 3 quarters of production, it will be Antonio Gibson for 1 week, and then you can try and. My hope is that he doesn't fumble and has a really great week, and then you could trade Antonio Gibson for something that actually matters. That would be nice. Second choice is the infuriating mess that is Braylon Allen. Because you're down that low, you're getting into if he falls bass backwards into the end zone, that's all you need. So, but it would be Gibson because they're trying to punish Ramondre Stevenson because the Patriots don't have enough real problems. They need to actually punish people on their team. So they're going to put Antonio Gibson out there. Shout out to Steve who posted in the Discord I couldn't get there because I was working. The fumbling statistics for Antonio Gibson, and people were like, "Is Antonio Gibson going to hold the job?" And it's like, well, if it's about who's going to fumble the most, no. But for this 1 week, it's Gibson until he inevitably fumbles and then goes right back into the doghouse. That's where we are. So, love it. Adams, if he plays, Adams is not playing, so we're eliminating that right off the top.
Yep.
Would I trade Adams or keep him? Well, I would absolutely trade Adams if I thought I could get something for him.
Yeah.
But the question is going to be, the question will be, what do I think I could realistically get for Devontae Adams at this point? Love that.
Yeah.
Daniel, you might be stuck on that until a trade happens. That might be your issue. That might be your issue here is that Adams hurt and now being traded.
Well, he also hasn't been great this year anyway.
Right.
So.
Do I think I could get? I think I might be able to get Amari Cooper. Could I get Amari Cooper? I might try to get Amari Cooper because that might work out. He's kind of been better than Adams anyway. Really, it's been frustrating as hell, but it's kind of like my trash for your trash. But there's a non-zero chance that Cooper gets traded too. So that might be a realistic trade that I think I could get done. If I could get Terry McLaurin, see that would be something that I would be interested in. Do you think you could get Brian Thomas, Jason, or is it too late?
Man, it really
you're getting name recognition with Adams. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
it's worth a shot, honestly, just because people could be like, "Oh, it's a flash in the pan."
Well, also he's the dude has been Jacksonville.
Yeah, and that's the other issue is he's on Jacksonville, still averaging double digits almost every week except for 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I might do that one. I might do that if I thought I could get it done. And Steve makes a good point. Holding on to Adams does have a certain logic because, as Steve says, it realistically couldn't get worse. Like, what would it have to be worse than his current situation? Playing for the Patriots, which isn't going to happen.
Well, let's see. Names that have floated out: Jets, Steelers.
Steelers, and Cowboys are uninterested.
Commanders?
And yeah, Commanders was the other one, but
yeah, that's not going to happen
too. Yeah,
but Jets or not getting anything. The Steelers. Sorry. Do we think either? I mean, he
Saints
probably went the one.
Saints is what you're looking for.
Oh yeah,
and it
sorry,
was
because
yeah.
I was thinking Rodgers and Carr. That's why.
Yeah, because the connection. Yeah, that's what it is. So that's where he wants to go.
Wouldn't want to move either of those places though from Las Vegas.
I'd say you're not playing Adams. I'd say you're playing Leggett and Mooney off this list.
Yeah.
Unless you want to play Myers.
Well, Surtain. If I'm assuming that Myers is going to get the wide receiver 1 treatment. So if he sees Surtain, I don't think Myers does a whole lot of anything. Which is also why I was thinking if it's not Mooney, then maybe Sutton with a potential versus the Raiders matchup. Whose defense is probably not going to be without Max Crosby again. It's kind of looking like. So
yeah. I've said my piece. I'm playing Leggett and Mooney. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, it's definitely Leggett, but then I'm fine with.
I roll Mooney out. I'm a big Mooney fan. That's where we are. Do I play Myers over Waddle? I would.
Yeah, even with
as much as that sentence tastes like acid in my mouth, I would 100% do that. As gross as it makes me feel. Thanks. I need a shower after this. Now, or do you play Allen over Waddle? If you that's not the question.
Oh,
is it becomes Allen over Myers becomes the question.
Still yes.
I gotta go to my flex rankings for that. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. No, I'm gonna play Myers over Allen, but Jason would tell you to play. Jason's all in on Allen. Jason's all in on Allen, so he would tell you to play Allen over everything.
Well, it's not that. It's just the fact that, again, Surtain has legitimately kept every wide receiver he's faced under 30 yards.
Yeah.
And if Myers is getting that treatment, that terrifies me.
That's if Myers is going to get that treatment. That's we don't know how that's going to exactly work.
You think it's going to be Tucker?
I mean, it could be. We don't know. Like, and frankly, I don't even know that it matters. Like, okay, I shouldn't say that way. What I should say is I don't know that I super care about some of that. I think in reality, what I'd say is this: I stand by my statement because we don't know that Surtain's going to bracket cover and get the true 1 treatment over on Myers. They might put him on Tucker because the Broncos might say, we can beat you either way. Yeah. even if Myers gets our 2 coverage, we could still win this game. So because I don't exactly know how they're going to scheme on that, I kind of don't want to hang my hat on it while conceding your point that Surtain is one of the, you got to give him the old Revis Island treatment from a million years ago, where it's like anybody going up against Surtain, you downgrade like significantly. So
I keep trying to figure out a way to use curtain because I feel like that's like he just covers you.
I'll think about that.
Yeah, the important things.
What? Oh, nope. This. So he needs to. This question confuses me, Daniel.
Yeah, I think it's
very confusing me. Because I thought the question was you needed to get Warren off your IR. So someone had to get cut to do that. And now you're telling me there's a second part to the question, which is if you drop Gus, who do I send in a waiver in? Oh, I get it.
That's what I was trying to.
Who's the second cut? Who's the next cut off this list?
Probably Sutton. It's Sutton or Mooney. Unless you just cut Warren.
It might be Warren. That's what I was going to say. It might just be Warren. It's because it very well could just be Warren at that point. Because you're not. That's not great. Well, because I would also consider cutting Myers. Because I don't have any I don't have any like real love for Myers. I wouldn't cut Mooney. I wouldn't cut Leggett because there's upside on that. My issue with Myers is that like I just don't care. Like it's like he's not doing much for you. Sutton's not doing much for you either. This is turning into the Spider-Man meme. It's like it's all the same. And it becomes a question of what could I re-pick up for Spears. Hang on. Let me look at something here.
That's why I said, I mean, outside of Warren, it's Sutton and Mooney that you can easily pick back up. I think people are going to be kind of hot for Myers just because Adam's going to be gone. And they get the wide receiver one for the team, potentially. Yeah, I know. I'm just going through.
Basil. What does it all mean? Hang on, because we got to go rest of season now. So I got to go back to my rest of season flex rankings. Hang on. Okay, I got Spears at 85. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. If you're just going by my rest of season flex rankings, the cut would be Leggett, but I know no one's going to do that. So that's not helpful in that instance. So the next one. Yeah. So that's the problem is I would do this. I would cut somebody. It would have to be Sutton in that case. If you're not going to cut Leggett, it would be Sutton. So that's where you are. That's where I'm at with it. If you're not going to pull the trigger on cutting Leggett, it would be Sutton. Had you asked me this question before the Devontae Adams trade rumor thing, I would have told you Myers, and I wouldn't have been close. I'd have just cut him. Yep. But I'm not cutting Mooney. I'm not cutting Shakir. I doubt you're going to be willing to cut Leggett just based on where the world is on Leggett versus where I am at this moment. I know how my rankings work. So yeah, you'd be looking at cutting Sutton. But I wouldn't feel good about that. That's the problem. I wouldn't feel good about it.
Yeah. Again, it's either Sutton, Mooney, or Warren are the three that we would even kind of consider, just because those are the ones that you're also more likely going to get back if you want to.
Yeah. But I agree with picking up Spears, so I see the conundrum you're in. Because I would, of the players you've listed, I have Spears rest of season rated over all of them. And this is my problem, is that I don't know about good, but serviceable would be the word I would use.
He got points last week.
He got points last week, and he got some points. He got a touchdown a little bit before that. So it's like they're starting to figure that out. So I don't know that I would be feeling great about just cutting Sutton. But of the players you've listed, I would probably cut Leggett because I'm still not sold. But I'm aware if that opinion gets me booed. So people don't like that opinion. So I tend to not voice it. But if it was my team, I'd probably cut Leggett because I'm just not sold on it. But I'm aware that that goes against conventional wisdom. And people will boo me for it. So, yeah. This question is for everyone. This question is everyone. This is all my DMs. This is all of Twitter.
Still hurts. The lack of usage for Andrews outside of being, like you said, a right tackle for the Ravens.
Yeah, no, I have Ertz. It's Ertz.
Yeah, it's not particularly close.
Yeah, it's Ertz. Yeah, no, Daniel, I would pick up Spears. It's just a question of who do you cut, and I get the conundrum you're in. And like I said, if you're going purely by my rankings, I would cut Leggett. But I know that people don't find that palatable. So then the next choice would be Sutton, which I also don't find palatable. But you don't really need. Basically, you have like 4 wide receivers that I have ranked from like 101 to 130. And the one at 130 is Leggett. And the rest of them are literally like 101, 106, 103, and 113. So you're talking about like 4 guys that are all the same. And then you have Leggett, who's I have a little bit lower, just by virtue of the fact that he's a rookie. But if you go by Jason's rankings, I bet you it's the inverse of that. He probably has Leggett at like 80, which I wouldn't do, and would tell you, no, you got to cut something else. And he would cut Sutton because he's a hater.
It's not that I'm a hater. That offense is just hasn't looked great. What's really saving them right now is their defense. Keeps them in every game.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Royce, by the way. We didn't offer our apology. You're everyone right now. This is everyone for the chat. This is everyone right now. This is all the questions I get outside of like this type of thing. But yeah, Daniel, I have to put a fine point on it. Cut one of the receivers, whichever one you like the least, because I would go after Spears, given your roster construction and your team. I have him the highest rated of any of the players you've listed, so I would go get Spears. Don't know what that guy's doing, but I would help myself on the waiver wire.
Help.
I think it's helps, and I also think it's largely irrelevant.
They can't just focus on him.
I think it's just irrelevant too, to a certain point, because they're going to have to throw, especially with Etienne getting nicked up. So those targets got to go somewhere. And frankly, I would prefer that they not all go to BTJ, because then we get into the idea he will also get hurt. The neighbors conundrum, as we will call it. It is literally the neighbor's problem of like, look how good he is. Throw, and then he just gets hit a million times, and it's like, oh god, now he's on the ground. So you don't like that. I stream kicker, so it doesn't matter to me very much. I think you could do better than Boswell.
McLaughlin is the first name that comes to mind for me.
Rest of season, I'd say Aubrey, Butker, Fairbairn, Moody, Koo, McPherson. Jason Myers is available in a lot of leagues. I'd rather have Jason Myers rest of season. Who was the one you had?
McLaughlin, the Bucks kicker.
Oh yeah. I would rather have McLaughlin, however you're pronouncing that. Because I do think you could do better than Boswell. I have Boswell at 11 rest of season. So
he's been really held up by that first week.
Yeah, he's all propped up by that 1 week, and then so I would rather I like Jason Myers historically for the Seahawks. They kick a lot of field goals.
Same point. Young Wei Koo.
He was even higher. I have Young Wei Koo at 6. Like, so there's lots of things. 13, and I would take Bass over him. I would. I have Bass at 9.
Yeah, that's fine. I have McLaughlin still.
That's kind of like 6 in one hand. I feel
like he's pretty wide
in the other.
Yeah.
McLaughlin. The benefit to McLaughlin is that he has. They draw Atlanta this week. I know it's Thursday, but it's very easy to kick field goals against Atlanta for whatever reason. I don't claim to know why, but if you go look at the next level thing, a lot of field goals get kicked against Atlanta, and I don't really know the answer for that. I don't know the underlying thing.
For some reason, they have a really good red zone defense.
Yeah. I would do it. I'd serious. Well, for
like I said, Murray just is being boosted by 1 week right now, and that's really surprising to me because it's supposed to be the new coming with Marvin Harrison coming in and just destroying people, and we haven't seen it really yet.
All right, I think it is a little crazy, just a little. I might.
Ask Steve. Steve knows. He's rolling both of them.
Yeah, I'll say Steve's high on both of them. I don't think it's that crazy. If that's where we're at. Hang on, let me look at something real quick. Getting so many rest of season questions tonight.
Yeah, people are already looking, man. It's that time of year.
Well, it's not that time of year. It's that everybody's hurt and that people are
Bye week started.
thirsty degenerates. It's not that early. We're 20% of the way through the NFL season. It ain't that early. Most leagues played a week 14, Jason. It's week 5. Okay, like
Yeah, we're halfway done.
no. Jason had to go to the penalty box. Jason had to go to the penalty box for that comment for a moment. I don't think it's that crazy. Is it a move that I would do for Mayfield? I would feel better about it. Yeah. I would feel better about it, but honestly, Daniel, I don't think I could bring myself to do it. I think I would sit and look at it, and then I would say, no, I gotta ride this out. So that's what I would do. I know Jason would do it. There you go. 2 versus 1. Oh god, dude, that's so long. I've been playing fantasy football since 2005. I started playing for like real money in 2009, and I've started being an analyst in 2016. So you do the math on that. That's like next year is 20 years for me playing fantasy in some capacity. And if you wanted me to count championships, we're going to be here a while. Do you what do you want me to count? Like, are we counting friends and family leagues into that? Or are you talking about leagues that I've won against experts? Like, that's long.
Yeah, like I said, pretty sure one year when I first started here, I think I hit 65 leagues in 1 year. And
I've only ever really played for money, Daniel.
Yeah, we don't.
But I'm talking about serious money. In 2009 is when I started playing for like real money. I think maybe there was a couple years in there where we didn't play for money, but like, yeah, I've been doing, I think pretty positive next year is 20 years for me playing fantasy football in some capacity. And I think it's like almost 10 years of me being an analyst at that point. And I've won shit. Like, I average probably like I probably average almost a championship a year, given how many leagues I play. Like, I play like usually 4 or 5 minimum. And Jason was playing 65 leagues. So that's the other thing that can be I don't keep this on a spreadsheet, Daniel, because to be honest with you, it's just maddening. Steve has won even more than I have. He's one of the only people that I could even say that about. Like, because I'm like a perennial playoff team in just about any league I play. And yeah, I play a lot of expert leagues, and then I play a couple leagues against the public. But recently, over the last few years, I cut down the number of leagues. I pretty much just play in expert leagues at this point, except for like one friends and family league. So like that's kind of it at this point. That's kind of the sacrifice that had to get made. But yeah, if you talk to Jason, like Jason, the math would work different because he played like 1 year, he played 60 leagues or some nonsense. So it's like you'd get into that nightmare where it's like the most leagues I ever played in 1 year was like 10.
Yeah.
And I learned very quickly that I don't want to do that. So I have a representative sample. I play in a couple dynasty leagues, a couple redraft leagues, and then some years I'll play guillotine, vampire, just to mix it up, try different formats and spread out as much as I can just to see everything. And then, yeah, Jason, how many leagues do you even play in currently?
I'm only playing in 3 now.
Okay. But at one point when I first met you, I remember when I first met you, you were playing in like 20 something leagues.
Yeah. And it got way out of control. So when I was literally looking at waiver wires starting Sunday night and putting in claims just to make sure that I could try and get close. And like I think that in that year I hit 80% playoffs and ended up winning like 10 or 15 of them.
Yeah, and then I also know that that's probably around the time when your wife sends you to marriage counseling and like all that stuff because that's just not sustainable. Well, to tell you what, we'll do this question here in a second. Bigsby and Sermon. We'll do that question here in a second. Well, we did it already, actually.
Yeah.
We did start of the week. It's Sermon for Jason. There you go.
Yeah, it'd be different if Bigsby or if Etienne is. I'm assuming he's going to practice, so I'm not too worried about him playing.
Yeah, I have the Broncos D in I have the Broncos D number 1 this week. Number 1. So you're not crazy. Yep, that's a really good call.
Yep,
that's smart. That's very smart.
Way it should go.
I would recommend doing that 10 times out of 10. Yeah. Yeah. That's about my average, where it's like it's that kind of thing. So we play a lot. You don't get to this level of nerddom without putting the time in. So that's why we do this and can say what we say comfortably. That's why we talk about trends in 32 teams for 32 days. It's like, dude, I have 15 years of spreadsheets that I can go reference. That's why when I tell you tight end is useless, I'm not just making that up. That's my actual opinion based on data-driven analysis going back. Same thing with kicker. That's a good question too. I want to say 3, confirming. Nope, that's rest of season, because I keep getting asked rest of season questions. 2. I moved them up to 2.
Yep. I have them 2. Yep. Broncos 1, Seahawks 2.
This is the most football-y show we've done in forever. Nobody's asking nonsense questions. This is all pure football tonight. It's so weird. Glitchy Gamer's gonna get the impression that we're not just dicking around. This is
no strip clubs and Buc-ee's. No.
Yeah. Thank you, Daniel, and thank you, Daniel. Yeah. Yeah. We're not talking about opening a strip club at a Buc-ee's. Nobody's talking about Polo's book club, which was always my favorite part of the show. Yeah, we haven't talked about the Showtime Grill. No, there's none of this. None of this is it's all pure football tonight. It's weird. We've done more raw football. And yes, if Neighbors doesn't play, I agree with that. I would actually put the Seahawks at 1 if Neighbors sits. See, more football. We're doing pure football. All right, Jason, we got to do a little bit more pure football, and then we'll do something fun. Because we got to also get out of here. This show is going on 2 hours. We've legitimately been doing this for 2 hours, and I love doing it, but 2 hours is a long time for people to listen to the sound of my voice. I feel like, but people that I work with don't listen to the sound of my voice for 2 hours continuously. Sit of the week for running back is where we left it.
It's going to be Devon Achane versus the Patriots. I think we touched on don't play Dolphins ever until Tua is back. So
it's not ever. Okay, thank you for clarifying. Not ever. Not ever. Let's not do that.
But since he's left, needless to say, Achane has been struggling. Hasn't even broken 8 fantasy points. It's rough out there. And I feel bad for him because I thought he would be the beneficiary. They can't get it to Hill. They can't get it to Waddle. Give it to Achane. He's already there. Just hand it off to him.
Can't do nothing.
Can't do a darn thing. So
can't do nothing.
We're gonna until further notice, riding the pine, baby.
The cop-out answer is Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah.
I just want to point out that is the cop-out answer here. Is oh my God, it's Dr. Squatch.
Yeah.
Holy cow. For the first time this season, Dr. Squatch is here. All right. Well, now it's a party. As I said, the cop-out answer is Ramondre Stevenson, so we're not going to do the cop-out answer. The one that I have for real is sorry, the chat. The chat is throwing me off here. Dr. Squatch is back. It's incredible. That's where we are. The other cop-out answer, by the way, is Joe Mixon, because he's currently rated in the top 12. I don't think he's playing. So that's the other cop-out answer. But for me, Wow, there's so many cop out answers because I keep seeing more as I go through. Because it's Travis Etienne, that's a cop out answer because he's probably not going to play. Brian Robinson would be a cop out answer because he's probably not going to play. No, for real. In all seriousness, the one I have is James Cook. It's James Cook. I know a lot of people are on the James Cook revenge game narrative because he got shut down last week, and Houston is a better matchup. But I will tell you, it's not that much better. Houston has been really strong against the run. They've been weak against the pass. Their secondary has been their issue, not their front seven. So unless Cook is going to catch a bunch of dump offs and they make it a point to do that, I'm nervous about Cook this week. So for me, it's going to be Cook. I just hate doing that because he is technically in the top 10. And you probably don't have better options, but it would be Cook for me if I did have better options. So that's where we are. It's Tucker Kraft, Dr. Squatch, by like a huge margin.
Otten is literally just exercising out there right now.
Yeah, it's Kraft. It's Kraft by a hot minute.
Individually sliced cheese, baby. I miss those days.
And we might have to do this. We don't do this way, but we might have to do this. Who would be the sleeper of the week, Jason?
I usually wait until Sunday to do that because
I know you do. You usually, that is a Sunday question typically.
It usually really pops out to me because honestly, it's probably gonna be Jordan Whittington. Does that count as a sleeper
again?
No, Jordan Whittington would be.
Is it?
I think he's lower. I'm trying to look at it really.
So I was actually going to suggest Whittington because Whittington is Whittington's like off the radar. Whittington's off the radar for a lot of people, especially casual people. And Whittington led the Rams in receptions, and he had 8 targets last week. Demarcus Robinson has been trash. Tutu Atwell is their field stretcher, and he has been productive. But that's
overlooked.
Yeah, Whittington is like way off the page. So I do like the Whittington one. Whittington would be on my radar.
Jalen Polk?
Jalen Polk would be another good one. Jalen Polk would actually be higher up, more well-known than Whittington because Polk at some level was being drafted. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like Polk is a little higher up. But Whittington would be way up there as far as like sleeper of the week goes. If you're using the true definition of sleeper, which is like totally off the radar. I like it. I think that might be the answer. I'm serious. I think that might be the answer. Like it might be Whittington.
I'm glad that I like immediately went down my list. I'm like, who could be the one that really hits?
Well, I was recommending Whittington to some people privately that were asking about waiver claims in deep leagues where it's like, no, Whittington, because he'll be available. And that's probably probably the right one.
Yeah.
That's probably the right one. Polk is a good one. I like that.
Tyrone Tracy?
I still think it might have to be Whittington because Whittington's just so
far down.
Well, he's not in the rankings, but the problem is that he was completely available. Waivers ran last night on Sleeper, right? On everywhere they ran. On Sleeper, Whittington, even after waivers running, is still at 16% rostered. Polk's more than that. Like all the guys we've named are more than that. So I think by default, that's how I evaluate this question. It's not by ranking. It's by percentage availability plus ranking.
Yeah.
Percentage availability has to play into this. So I think it might have to be Whittington just because no one knows who that is.
We talked about it on Monday.
Yeah, but and look what it did. 16% on Sleeper.
Yeah, that's a 13%, baby.
Yeah, we moved that needle, baby.
Moving that needle.
I think it would have to be because that's what would be the right combination of because I've got him at 80 in my flex rankings. Because he's gonna play. Like it's not a question of that. I mean, there's a league where I'm just riddled with buys. So there's a league where I did bye week stacking for week 5. And I am like I'm 4-0. But I'm probably gonna lose this week because I don't have anyone to play. I picked up Whittington. Reynolds is a sleeper, but you asked about sleeper of the week.
Yeah.
So to answer the question very narrowly, Glitchy, do you live in Denver? Like you're talking about Bo Nix and Josh Reynolds. Like, are you in Denver or in Colorado somewhere?
Because
For context, I'm in Colorado, so it's just something I noticed.
And 32 teams in 32 days.
Yeah. So Reynolds would be a sleeper, but I would not qualify. Reynolds is a sleeper, but I would not qualify him as the sleeper of the week.
Yeah.
He is something that I do have my eye on. Trey Tucker could, but I prefer the Whittington situation because of the quarterback
And the volume.
and the volume. Yes. You are correct about the Surtain matchup, also leading me to once again ask you if you are in Denver, because you don't have to answer that question, but you're striking me as someone who might live in Denver because of all the Broncos questions and stuff here. All right, I figured I'd ask. Here we go. Love, Reed, Wicks. Yeah.
Just go the whole team, man.
Just start them all at this point.
Yeah. Roll it out.
Addison, Hunt, Wicks, Waddle. Well, you weren't here earlier, Squatch, so we're just going to scratch Waddle's name right off the end of that for you. We're not going to play that.
Oh, it's just Wicks and Addison, though.
Yeah, I'm going to play Wicks and Addison as well.
Wicks and Addison. Casey backfield is...
It's a mess, and you're asking about PPR, so I lean wide receivers anyway in that situation, so that's where you are. Waddle makes everyone sad. That's been the theme of today. It's literally been one of the themes of tonight. It's nice to have Dr. Squatch back. Let's see what we're doing here. Oh yeah, I remember what we're doing. Hang on, Daniel asked a question. Very.
Bro.
You don't know. You don't know. It gets there's some days where it gets
well, I mean, you're on FLA. You see how that goes. And that's a third of what I deal with.
I don't miss doing FLA. I don't miss doing it. I really just don't miss doing that. Here, half are yours. In the grand scheme of things, really not that many. Like, Daniel, don't feel bad for us. We signed up for it.
Yeah.
We knew what we were getting into. Also, you just heard us mention we've been doing this for a long time. Like, we know the grind, and we continue to do it. If it was really something we weren't inclined to do, we wouldn't do it. And I wouldn't I wouldn't spend 2 hours on Wednesdays live streaming if it was something we weren't inclined for. But just know it may not seem like a lot of work, and it may seem like it's fun. And it is fun, but it is a lot more work than people realize. And there are some days where it's way less fun. Like, for example, there are some days where you just might be having a bad day. You just might be having a bad day because life's not going good for whatever reason, and you gotta nut up and do this. That's where some days it's not a lot of fun to have to do it. So that's where we are. And yes, Dr. Squatch, we are on Wednesdays now because you weren't here. We do have a Thursday show, but we're doing start sits on Thursdays before the game so that people can go enjoy the game. So we moved this to Wednesdays. So if you're available, it's Wednesdays at 7:00 Mountain, 8:00 Central. So this way we get to kind of lay out and do this more as opposed to trying to like answer a million questions. Then people leave for the game. Then we do the show. And it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that anymore. Like, so now we just come on, answer questions, and then let go people enjoy watching Thursday night football that I still hope every year that they just cancel. But it continues to make money. But I do see more people warming up to my idea that Thursday night football just should not exist. More people are coming around to it, but the casuals love it is the problem. The casuals like it. And Bezos makes money on it. So.
Oh, speaking of things that kind of matter. Sunday, there is a game at 9:30.
Yeah, London game. Jets Vikings is in London. So 7:30 in the morning my time, so I will be asleep in my comfy bed. And I'll tune in for the fourth.
You don't want to do start sit?
No. We will still do start sit, but I'm not doing start sit for the London game.
We'll just get up at 7. We'll roll it out for an hour, and then we'll be good.
This smart ass. Glitchy, you're gonna fit it just fine. That's perfect. Smart ass. That's fantastic. got to do a little bit of light trolling every once in a while. Sometimes you got to do it. All right, and then Jason, let's do wide receiver start sit of the week, and then let's do the fun part of the show. We'll do the officially sanctioned fun part of the show after that.
Okay, I'm
Plus, Steve's gonna go to bed if we don't get done soon. Like, we got to get done so that Steve can. I know Steve's literally here to see the end of the show. We got to do the end of the show.
Yeah, so we have to draw it out more. No, start of the week: Xavier Legette versus the Bears.
Part of why I was saying,
yeah,
Jason will never condone cutting Xavier Legette.
Yeah, well, it's not so much that I will once Thielen comes back, but until that happens, it's a 2 on the team.
My man.
I know. It's the fact that he's a 2. Dalton's under center. He's gonna have to chuck it. Doesn't matter. Johnson potentially hobbled. If he's out there running decoy, Legette even goes even higher for me.
Yeah.
It's mind blowing how good this week could be for him.
Keenan Allen for me. Target monster. When he was actually healthy that first week, and now he's coming back against a soft Carolina defense. I think they're going to make a point to get him the ball early and often to help kickstart the offense a little bit here. Because if they can figure out how to make that offense move forward productively, the defense is legit. So the Bears need to figure that out, and I think they're gonna get some target practice in this week, and I think Keenan Allen will be the primary beneficiary of it. So I know it's a little scary starting him with the heel injury, and that's a weird injury in general, and you don't see that often. You know what I mean? Like, so that's where we are. So I'm wheels up on Allen and putting him back in at a flex this week. Who's your sit of the week? I bet I know who it is.
Probably Xavier Worthy versus the Saints.
All right. Well, that's going to run against the grain. That's going to rub some people the wrong way. So why?
Dude, I don't trust any wide receiver right now for the Chiefs. It doesn't. Kelsey's the one player that I feel confident in playing on the Chiefs.
Sure.
I've liked what I've seen from Worthy, but until I start seeing him do more than just run down the field, I'm not falling for it. I don't know. I think that I saw him at wide receiver 16 in the ECR. No,
they've adjusted that. He's at 29.
Falling back down.
He's at 29.
Okay, that's better. When I saw him initially, he was at 16. I'm like, what is everybody smoking? I need some of that. I would feel so much better about life. But man, yeah.
Just generally. Yeah. Like, just generally feel better about everything that's going on.
Only Chiefs fans had clearly put in their full send on Worthy being the one this week. So also the Saints.
This one gets hard because of the buys.
Yeah.
Because I can't just tell you.
Wait until we have like 8 teams on a bye.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that either.
Especially with all the injuries, it's going to just be.
Oh God. Oh Lord.
He might be back. I mean, his mom just stole.
Don't worry about this. Just don't. Let's not even get into that. And for me this week, it pains me to do this. It really does pain me. Because you'll notice that we get asked a lot of Rashid Shaheed questions, and normally I'm a big Rashid Shaheed truther, but not this week. This is one of the weeks where I would consider sitting Shaheed, just because I think we're looking at a big Olave week here. I understand that some people are worried about Olave with the one coverage from the Chiefs defense, but I'm not really worried about that as much. I think Olave can win that matchup consistently. And then the other problem I have is that the Chiefs pass rush is actually still legit. And that's going to be hard for Derek Carr to have the time he needs to actually launch those deep balls to Shaheed. So I'm a little concerned about Shaheed this week. Not because of Shaheed or anything. I'm a little concerned that the Chiefs pass rush is good enough to speed Derek Carr up to not let the play develop downfield, and that will hurt Shaheed. That's my fear.
Really hoping Carr can have one of his big games. He has had historically big games against the.
He has, but I'm a little nervous about this. Yeah, Glitchy, we'll see you on Sunday, man. I know I recognize the Fortnite thing. I was like, I know this guy. Like, we'll see you on Sunday. And then now it is finally time. We've answered all the questions. Everybody, Glitchy should have waited like 5 more minutes, because now it is time for us to unveil our brand new segment that I have to go get set up.
Terrified.
So we are going to do this. Hold on.
Yeah, y'all enjoy this. This is definitely worth the build up. Some bull. That's what it is. Golly. Huh? Now you can't find it.
No, I got it. Hang on. And now it is time to unveil our brand new segment.
Spin the wheel, place a bet. It's time again for Tight End Roulette.
Presented by Ballpark Franks. They plump when you cook them. If you to the no way, for Ballpark Franks.
And there you go. And there you go. It is now time for Tight End Roulette. Everyone will enjoy this because we no longer are going to bother doing like start sit properly for tight end because it is completely pointless. So now we are going to spin the wheel is what we are going to do. So here it goes. Spinning the wheel for tight end roulette. This is start of the weeks. Well, it's kind of both.
Oh no.
Yep. Kate Otten. There it is. That's it. So Jason. Kate Otten. See, a start of the week or a sit of the week?
If it's of the ones that are left, I mean, I'm gonna have to sit him. Dude is just running routes, but not getting any targets. And I don't think that changes this week.
All right. Spin it again.
Golly.
Yep. Sit Kate Otten. We already covered that a few times. Oh, here we go.
Oh no. Go up.
Nope. It's Mike Gesicki. Is it Mike Gesicki? Does anyone know?
I hate this so much.
Yep. Mike Gesicki, Jason. What do you think?
Well, we just saw Kincaid have a good week against
Yep.
Lovely.
It's everybody's new favorite segment. This is how we're doing this now. This is the only way we're doing this moving forward.
The only tight end to have a bad week against the Ravens has been Kelsey. Does that help?
No. Is he the start of the week?
He's the start of the week. I can't go with Otten. I mean,
well, no, I can keep spinning.
Yeah.
You want me to keep spinning? I can keep spinning. We can do this all night. There's other names on here.
Oh my god. I just don't.
I'll spin it one more time for you. How about that?
Give me Taysom Hill.
Nope.
Nope.
You're not that lucky. Oh, maybe. Nope. It's Noah Fant. Is it Noah Fant?
Yeah.
Do we like Noah Fant?
Like is a strong word.
Do we? It's not Noah Fant. I'm just going to save us a lot of time. It's not Noah Fant. So far of these, the one that I like is actually Gesicki.
Yeah.
Here you go. Dalton Schultz. 15 in the ECR.
I don't like any of it. I don't like it.
Yep. This is how we're doing this now. Because it's literally what life is. This is as valid as any level of analysis that you will have. This is what it is.
Terrifying.
Do you want Dalton Schultz?
I think it's going to be Mike Gesicki.
So far, it's Mike Gesicki. Do you want Dalton Schultz? Because that's what we're getting. Like, it's I'll say this right now. I don't want Dalton Schultz.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz. This one actually, I can tell you. Dalton Schultz actually he was third on the team in targets last week when Tank Dell sat. I'm not convinced Tank Dell's going to sit. And this is one of the things that Jason and I actually agree on, is that for as long as all three of their wide receivers are healthy, Dalton Schultz is at best the fourth target option. If you go look at his point totals, it's 4, 4, 4, and 6. You could just cut Dalton Schultz. But that really tells you how bad the tight end position is when he's coming in at 15 in the ECR. So there you go. So far, still Mike Gesicki. I'll spin it again for you. I'll do this all night. Oh, here you go.
Sit.
It's Tyler Conklin.
There we go.
Do you like Conklin more than Gesicki?
I mean,
I do.
yeah, probably. Just because, I mean, it's a tough defense. He's still seeing good target share. I mean,
I'll tell you. I'll tell you.
Lazard and him are
As-
really the 1-2 punch right now.
As fun as this is, I'll spin it one more time. There is a real answer. Oh, we're gonna get it? Okay,
There it
we
is.
finally got there.
Yep.
The answer is
What I'm
Zach.
hoping for.
The answer is Zach Ertz. The real answer to this whole sarcastic exercise is Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz is actually on the fringes of tight end 1. As gross as that is, he's looking at 6, 10, 8, and 7. As gross as that is, it ranks him as the tight end 9 for the season.
Yeah. He was my actual start of the week.
Yeah.
That
That's the real answer here. As sarcastic as this whole exercise is, it is Zach Ertz. That's the real one.
And my set of the week is actually Evan Ingram.
Yeah, that's a
because it seems like a glaring red light in my
that's
eye.
a
I'm just like
huge
that's a no.
cop-out. David Njoku, Evan Ingram, and Cole Kmet are all cop-outs. The real answer is Kyle Pitts. As Daniel so eloquently put it, Kyle Pitts is fired. And not for the first time. Kyle Pitts is fired. Daniel is correct. That's a mistake. That is a straight up mistake.
Maybe.
That is
Laporta really hasn't done. I mean,
it's a rage quit though.
Yeah.
That's a rage quit. That's somebody who got all upsetty spaghetti and got all up in their feelings and did something dumb. They did a dumb. Shouldn't have done that. Like that's just people getting upset. Sure. Evan Ingram can be your sit if that's what it was. You'll notice I didn't do a wheel for sit of the week. Because the problem was we would hit Bowers and then it's like I gotta spin again. Yeah. So it's like it's not that much fun. So it didn't work as well in testing. So there you go. For me it's Pitts, sitting Pitts. If I could avoid it. Honest to God, I would be trying to pick up Zach Ertz as much as possible. And we've got a lot of Mark Andrews questions. So I will. Oh, look, the wheel's pointing to Isaiah Likely. So we'll just use that as a cop out and do this way.
Also sit of the week.
Not necessarily. The Andrews, though, the problem with Andrews is that you're stuck. You can't drop him because that's an overreaction. You can't trade him because no one will give you anything that makes sense. So you literally are stuck with Mark Andrews. I've got a lot of questions about this in my personal life and also on the Discord. Speaking of which, you can join us on our Discord, and the link is in the show notes below. Please feel free to sign up. We take questions all day and all night, all the time. So the reality of it is, though, is that you're just stuck with Mark Andrews. We've got this question a lot. There's nothing you can do. You're just going to have to ride it out. You're going to have to sit there and just eat it. And that really sucks. That is sucky advice to have to give, and it's sucky advice to have to take. Because you can't trade him, and you can't cut him, and there's nothing else you can do. You're just going to have to sit there. Now, we will revisit this topic when we get closer to the midway point in the season, when I might be willing to trade him. If this continues, I might be willing to trade him for a bag of magic beans. Because some playoff team will probably give me the worst thing on their roster. And they'll stash him on the end of their bench. And then at that point, I might be willing to take the magic beans for Mark Andrews, but not now. It's too early. It's too early for that. So right now, you just got to sit and hold tight, but you can't play him, you can't cut him, and you can't trade him. Similar to Jalen Waddle. Very similar situation for different reasons. The Mark Andrews thing is even more confusing. Yeah, I don't know about. Oh,
Freiermuth or Ingram.
Oh, I'd keep Freiermuth at this point.
Yeah,
but that's me. No Freiermuth truther.
Also because Kirk and Brian Thomas look pretty good as the first two options in the passing game.
Yep. So this has been the Wheel of Tight Ends, a new recurring segment. This is here you go.
Spin the wheel, place a bet. It's time again for tight end roulette.
Presented by Ballpark Franks. They plump when you cook them. If you concept in no way affiliated with Mark Sanchez or Ballpark Franks.
There you go.
Good.
If you want to know what we spent our time doing this week, it was that. That was what it was. It was setting all this up. It was setting all of that up, and I hope everyone enjoyed that because it took a shocking amount of work. So they do plump. They do plump when you cook them. And shout out to Steve for putting that graphic together because that's all him, baby. He figured that out, and I appreciate the Mark Sanchez.
So funny.
They plump when you cook them. So I hope everyone enjoyed that because that is how we will be doing that segment moving forward. This is not a democracy. This is literally how that's going to work.
Because until something actually starts to happen, then
because this is not a democracy. This is now because frankly, we enjoy that enough to a point where this is happening now. This is now happening. So there it is. So folks, it's been an absolute slice and a half. If y'all have any more questions, hit us up. But if we're other than that, we're gonna get out of here. Jason will be back tomorrow to answer your questions for the Thursday night game. Mason and Vishal will get you locked in on Friday for all your degenerate sports betting questions. Mason has been on quite the heater, actually, in the background. Mason always makes money, but recently I think Mason's on steroids. Like Mason's on some sort of like betting steroids that I don't know where he gets them. He won't tell me. It's so frustrating.
tracking very well. I tried to get him on another show, and we'll see if he actually does it.
Yeah, but check that out. Mason's having a day over there. He's making some money. So check that out on Fridays if you've got betting questions. And then Sunday, obviously, Jason and I will do the final. We'll take you through the final countdown. Get all your last minute questions answered. Help you set your lineups and get ready for week 5. As Jason mentioned, London game, Jets Vikings. Yay. So get your questions in like on the Discord for that. And if you're very nice, Jason might answer them on Thursday. If you're very nice, he might do that.
I might be awake. We'll see.
Maybe. No, I meant yeah. But get them in on Saturday potentially on the Discord or however, and then get your Jets Vikings questions then because we're not starting early to do Jets Vikings. I'm sorry, but no. Like I love you all.
You only have to wake up like 3 hours earlier.
Yeah, I only got to get up at 7:00 in the morning on Sunday. Yeah, it's not happening. Like it's not happening. Like
we can do a short show, then take another nap.
Yeah, go back to bed, then do the real show. Go back to bed. No, it's not happening. It's not working that way. My life is not. I'm not doing that. Like you can get up at 8 a.m. and do it if what you want to do. But this week, Jason will not be in a hotel room. I don't think.
Nope. Back here. Actually, I might be in a new location though.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're finally might be moving around the house. All right. Well, that'll be entertaining. And then we'll see you on Sunday. And then just make sure you keep in mind the Monday game. File that away. But we will be on to do the final countdown at our normal time. And just also keep in mind the buys. You got a lot of buys this week, so just make sure you plan accordingly. Titans are on bye.
Lions.
Lions are on bye. Eagles are on bye, and the Chargers are on bye. Yeah, so you got all those teams on bye, and there's some real fantasy commodities here. If there was such a thing, Daniel, you would be invited if that did exist. Also, Daniel mentioned doing the show while drinking. No, we tried that. It doesn't work. It has to be NSFW tagged.
Mostly because of this guy.
That's me. Yeah.
I can do it just fine.
The connection, well, he does it all the time. The connection, the filter that I have while drinking goes away, and the language gets very salty. So we have thought about that. The problem is we don't want to get DCMA'd for live streaming the game. So that's the hard part about that, Daniel. We have thought about that. We could maybe do that. I don't know if I have any ugly sweaters left. We might do that for the Christmas show.
I was like, I still have my shirt from Important Nonsense because I was
Oh
like,
yeah,
I had-
that's
I had-
true. That's
I had to
true.
get my Christmas shirt out.
That's true. Might do that.
Yeah.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute slice. It's been a pleasure. We hope you enjoyed Tight End Roulette as much as we enjoyed doing it. And we will see you all here potentially as early as tomorrow, but for sure on Sunday. So hit us up in the Discord, join our Discord, ask any questions, and have a great rest of your week. And until then, keep up the nonsense.